Okay, so this isn't the variety show, but it is a rambling bonus. And today we're talking about Prodigy, and it's not me and Rob. Instead, it's Kay. Say hello, Kay.
Hi, everybody, again.
So this is the first time you've been on the Untitled Trek show, and that might be because you don't watch Star Trek.
Yeah, it sounds a bit interesting, but the things I've heard, kind of don't.
Fair enough. No, well, let's be honest about this. You do tend to side with Mummy when she says something, don't you?
Yeah,
Okay, and what does Mummy say about Star Trek?
that she doesn't like it.
Fair enough. And does that then make you think, I probably won't like it as well?
A little bit.
It's fair enough to say that, because we all learn about the things and the shows we like based on what people tell us. And your mum is someone you look up to. So of course you're going to think that.
Yeah.
So we have just watched episode 1 of Star Trek Prodigy. Now, Star Trek Prodigy, as you would have heard in the latest Untitled Trek episode, which was out last week, is a Star Trek series that was made by Nickelodeon
Yep.
and was aimed purely at children. So your generation, okay? So people who were born your era that may not have been introduced to Star Trek.
When I saw the top when it started, I was like, oh, Nickelodeon, I might like this because I like watching Nickelodeon stuff.
Yeah, well, you have watched a lot of Nickelodeon stuff over the past few years, especially as we got streaming stuff. You've watched a lot of stuff on it, so that's a good thing. Now, so the people get an idea of what sort of person you are before we talk about it then, Kay. Do you like science?
Oh my God, I love science.
Do you like maths?
Maths is my favourite subject of all time.
Okay, do you like doing sport?
Depends of what sport it is.
Okay, and just very quickly, tell the listeners, you're 10 years old, tell them what interests you have, okay?
Okay,
So what are your favourite things to do right now?
my favourite things to do right now are play Roblox,
Okay,
hang out with friends, and sometimes go on my laptop at the moment and search up some characters that I have an interest of at the moment and trace them.
okay, and what characters are the main ones you're doing at the moment?
It's called Sanrio, and my favourite characters at the moment are Kuromi, My Melody, and Cinnamon Roll.
Okay, cool. So everyone that's listening to this at the moment now knows the sort of person you are, okay? And I'm going to just ask you straight up, have you ever watched any Star Trek before?
No.
Are you sure? Because I know that you've watched a couple of bits, or you've come in when I've been watching
With
Star
that
Trek.
with that alien thing.
Not with Prodigy, no, but any Star Trek at all. Have you ever seen any? And not whether you don't
I've
have to have seen a
some
whole
in
episode.
in like a spaceship.
Ah, right. So
Something
yes,
like
the
that.
Star Trek you've seen little bits of has been one called Deep Space Nine, and they're based on a space station. And that's the little bits, and every time you've seen it, they've been sat in a kind of a bar or a restaurant bit that's going on.
Yeah.
But that's all you've ever seen, yeah?
Mhm.
And what do you know about Star Trek?
That is about aliens and space. That's all I know.
No, that's fair enough. Okay, cool. Everyone now has the idea of who you are, what you know about it. So let's go into talking about Prodigy. And I guess the first question would be, did you actually enjoy episode 1 of season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy?
It was alright. Not the best thing I've ever watched, but it was alright.
Okay, what did you enjoy about it?
Well, there was a funny moment near the end where one of the characters spoke, and it was very unexpected.
So that part, for people that are following along with that episode, they have just got on board what we now know as the USS Protostar, or Prodigy, whatever it is, and Rock Tuck presses the button and turns the ship on, and the universal translator turns on. And yes, Rock Tuck goes from being like this
Wrong and tough.
to, hey, I'm a little kid.
Yeah.
So that was a funny moment for you. What any other bits in it that kind of stood out to you that were like, this is interesting or this is fun?
I really liked like the cat part with the little orphan cat.
The cat
was so
prisoner,
cute.
yes.
Yeah.
And do you get the idea that Gwyn, one of the main bad characters, or what we portray as bad, do you get that really she is bad when she takes in that little cat, or?
To be honest, of that part, I kind of think she has a warm heart, because to be speaking to someone you've never met before that's young and scared, that is really nice.
Okay. And me and Rob joked about this, but do you really think there'd be an alien out there called Gwyn?
I don't know if aliens exist, so I'm not sure about that.
Oh, fair. Okay, no, fine. I'll accept that's an answer.
I do believe they're out there, though, so.
Oh, that's a good thing to think.
But not like an alien that's humanish.
Right.
Like something that's not our species.
Okay, that's fine. Now, going back to Prodigy then, would you carry on watching the next episode to see, am I going to really get into this, or did episode 1 just put you off?
I think I'd watch like part 2, because part 1 was the one we watched. So I think I should watch part 2 just to see if I properly like it.
Okay, so I think for me, and this is just from my point of view, so remember, we're interested in what you think, but feel free to use any ideas that I have that might match your ideas. But for me, I think the first episode, as fun as it was, it felt a little bit slow, and it could have done with getting to the spaceship sooner than it did.
I agree with that, but I kind of disagree because of the part where what's the bad guy's name? The big bad guy.
Oh, what, the robot one?
Is his name
So you've got
Zero?
Oh no, that's a good. So Fugitive Zero.
Yeah.
Is the good guy. That was the big spherical robot thing with legs and arms.
Yep.
The bad guys we've come across at the moment, there's the big robot called Dreadnought. He'd got the red eyes.
Yep.
And then you've got I don't think it was called the Diviner, something like that. And that was the one that was floating around in the
Bubbly stuff.
The bubbly stuff. And you said, why is he floating around? And well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
So, which one did you mean bad guy wise?
The Zero guy, I keep forgetting.
Oh, so Zero guy's a good guy then. So Fugitive Zero, we find out, is a good guy.
Oh, okay.
Which is why they have followed Dow and Rock-Tuck to the spaceship that they've just discovered.
Can I make a prediction?
You can certainly make a prediction.
I predict Gwen is gonna actually join the good side, and they're gonna try and get out.
Yeah.
Of the place that they're trapped in, that one of the characters was talking about.
Right. Yes. So of course, what you get from the first episode, and you're talking about there, is that Dow says there's no escape from this planet. Do you really think he's going to let us go?
Yeah.
Giving us the idea that actually, once you're on that planet, you can't leave. You agree with that?
That's a tough decision, because there's two options. Yes, they can get out, and no, they can't, because there's always a possibility of things.
And that's exactly what they want you to believe with Dow, you see, and that's what they've set that character up. He believes that one day he will succeed, and he just keeps on trying and trying, doesn't he? Mm-hmm. And is that a good role model, do you think, for kids, or a bad role model?
I think it's a good role model, because the fact that he has the courage to keep on trying, even though sometimes he's failed, is actually really good for kids. Because, for example, if they were struggling in a math lesson and just gave up, but then they thought of that, and then they thought of Dal, then they would be like, oh, he didn't give up, he kept on trying. So I think it's good for kids like me.
Awesome. Now, this is a really weird question, but for our listeners, it will make sense. I think it will make sense to you as well. If I hadn't told you that first episode was Star Trek, would you have known that it was Star Trek?
I would have thought it was something completely random. Well, yeah, actually, I think it's like, oh, a new show. Wonder what this is about. Oh, it's about space. I would never have thought it was about Star Trek.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that that's what came across to you, because obviously for me, for Rob, for our listeners, we've grown up and we watch Star Trek and we know Star Trek. So we knew that we knew that the show was about Star Trek because it's called Star Trek Prodigy. But by the end of it, when we see that spaceship they've discovered, that spaceship is straight out of Star Trek. It's the same design that you expect of Star Trek, yeah? But for someone who's never watched Star Trek, you have no idea if that show is actually about Star Trek. And even now, if I said, based on the show that we've just watched, can you tell me anything about what the Federation is?
I don't know what Federation means.
Fine. Okay, so I think for the listeners, that's a key point about Prodigy. Prodigy is designed to bring new people into the Star Trek universe, but episode 1 is so light on Star Trek, it's almost like it's a super way of easing you into something completely new. Because at this point, you've got no idea about what Star Trek is still. But you've got a show that you've said, I kind of liked it, and I will watch the next episode to see what happens.
Yeah, and if I like the next episode, then I might watch the next episode and see if I like that. And then if I really like it, then I might start watching it, and it will be a brand new series for me to watch. So I'm not watching the same things all the time.
So, final thing I'm going to quickly ask you then.
Yep.
Would you think it's weird that a TV show that was very popular with Star Trek fans, and that's both children and adults, that the studio, the people that made it, would cancel it after season 1?
Do you mean like, would they think it's not good and like...
Yeah, no. So what really happened is that the company that made it, called Paramount, finished season 1 and then said, we're not going to make a season 2.
Why?
They said they wanted to put their money elsewhere. Now, thankfully, a lot of adults, not children, but I'm sure there were children involved as well, but a lot of adults said this is some of the best brand new Star Trek to have ever existed.
Yeah.
And they fought, and now they've made series 2. And you're right, I don't think we're going to get through there without getting scratched. This is the bonus of going for a walk while talking on the microphone. You get to hear us get stuck in places, and we're in the woods at the moment. So Paramount said, we don't think it's going to make us enough money, so no more. And a group of adults got together who were really big Star Trek fans and said, but it was amazing Star Trek.
Yeah.
And they fought, and they won. So now there's going to be...
Did you join it?
We didn't join the Sci-Fi Prodigy, but there's another show called Lower Decks, which sadly you can't watch, which is very funny, and they've also cancelled that after 1 season. So we're fighting to have that rescued. But the long and the short of it is the fact that you're willing to watch the next episode says to me they've done a good job. Is there anything bad about the show that you would say before we stop talking?
Well, to be honest, you know the main character, Dal?
Dal, yeah.
Yeah, I thought the voice was a girl.
Okay.
Wait, was it the actor?
No. So the actor who played Dal, in fact, I can dial it up on my phone now.
That's not a bad part. It's just like something that I wanted to say.
You were confused, which, bear in mind, it's an alien. So actually, we could say gender, so boy, girl, binary, neutral, doesn't actually exist, couldn't we? We could say, why would an alien actually have boys and girls? That's a human thing.
Yeah.
But let me have a quick look and just check myself, because I don't want us to get this wrong. So Star Trek Prodigy, and we're looking for the main character, which was Dal, and it is played by a person called Brett Gray, who is a boy. Now you've got to remember Dull is meant to be a teenager or a younger child. So there's a good chance that's why his voice is a little bit higher than you would expect. Now, I believe that is a mushroom that we're just walking past. Hello, mushroom. But interestingly, Rock Tuck is played by Riley Alazraqui, or Key. Can't pronounce that one. You want to have a try at pronouncing it?
Wait, what?
Riley Alazraqui. That's as good as I think we're going to get with the pronunciation.
Alazraqui. I think
But
that's it.
so yeah, I understand that. But is that the only negative you'd have then? And it's not really a negative. It's just a bit. It was confusing to know.
I got confused on how they can turn the gravity on and off.
It's space.
Yeah, but I thought it just kept going and going, and you couldn't turn those
So
things
that's the
off.
beautiful thing about Star Trek. So on Earth, we can't turn off gravity because the Earth is a big planet.
Yeah.
And gravity is a natural force, okay?
Yeah.
But in the whole idea of Star Trek, they've created spaceships and space stations that you can control gravity on.
Wait, you can control the actual space gravity?
Not in real life, but in a show, why not?
Good point.
So, give it a rate, let's say out of 10, and we'll come back to you. And what we'll do another recording like this when you've watched episode 2.
Yeah.
But right now, episode 1, you've seen it. Out of 10, what do you rate Star Trek Prodigy?
6.9.
6.9. Okay, you're going with a decimal point score as well. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you've heard that here then. 6.9. We will watch the second episode at some point soon. And me and Kay will go for another walk with the microphones. And we will find out if that score goes up or it goes down. Anything you want to say to the people listening to this podcast before we go, Kay?
I think if you're not interested in Star Trek, I think you should still give it a go, because you never know what you might like and you might not like.
High five on that. That is a brilliant way to end this. Love it. Cheerio, everyone. Bye.
Bye. See you next time.